I want to take you on a journey through one of the most significant events in biblical history. The story of Noah's flood is more than just a tale of a big boat and animals. Let's start by setting the scene. The world before the flood was vastly different from what we know today. Humanity had spread across the earth, but something was terribly wrong. The text tells us that God looked upon the earth and saw that it was corrupt. In the biblical narrative, we're given a glimpse into God's perspective. The wickedness described in Genesis wasn't just a few bad apples. It was a pandemic of sin that had infected all of humanity. Every inclination, every thought, every action was tainted by evil. This wickedness was all-encompassing, affecting every aspect of human life. It was a complete rejection of God's design for human life. As we dig deeper into Genesis 6, we find more specific descriptions of what this wickedness looked like. The earth was corrupt in God's sight and was full of violence. This wasn't just physical brutality, though that was certainly part of it. The world had become a place where might made right, where the strong preyed on the weak, and where life was treated as worthless. At the heart of all this wickedness was a fundamental problem. Humanity had turned away from God. Genesis 6:3 gives us a hint of this when God says, "My spirit will not contend with humans forever." There's a sense here that people had pushed God away, refusing his guidance and rejecting his authority. The relationship between creator and creation had been severed. When humans try to live independently from their creator, the result is always disaster. Now we come to a crucial part of the story. God's response to all this wickedness. Genesis 6:7 records God's decision. "I will wipe from the face of the earth the human race I have created." This is a heavy moment. God, who is perfectly just and holy, could not allow the corruption to continue unchecked. The flood was that response, a cleansing of the earth, a reset button on creation. It's a sobering reminder of the seriousness of sin and the reality of God's judgment. But in the midst of all this darkness, there was a glimmer of hope. Genesis 6:8 tells us, "But Noah found favor in the eyes of the Lord." In a world full of wickedness, there was one man who stood out. Noah is described as righteous and blameless, a man who walked faithfully with God. This doesn't mean Noah was perfect, but it does mean that he was committed to following God, even when everyone around him was doing the opposite. God's plan wasn't just to destroy, it was also to preserve and to give a new beginning. He instructed Noah to build an ark, a massive vessel that would preserve Noah, his family, and representatives of all the animals. This ark was a symbol of God's mercy and his commitment to his creation. It was a lifeline in the midst of judgment, a way for life to continue even as the old world passed away. Through Noah, God was ensuring that humanity would have a fresh start. The flood wasn't the end of the story, but a new chapter. It's a powerful demonstration of God's ability to bring hope out of despair and new life out of judgment. The flood was both an act of judgment and mercy. It was judgment on wickedness, but also mercy in preserving a remnant. This dual nature reflects God's complex character, both just and merciful, both holy and loving. It reminds us that God's justice and his love are not in conflict, but work together in perfect harmony. After the flood, God made a covenant with Noah, promising never again to destroy the earth with a flood. The rainbow became a symbol of this promise, a reminder of both God's judgment and his mercy. It stands as a testament to God's faithfulness, even in the face of human unfaithfulness. As we conclude our exploration of why God flooded the earth, we're left with a profound picture of God's character. He is a God who takes sin seriously, but also a God who provides a way of salvation. I encourage you to read Genesis 6:9 for yourself and reflect on these questions. Thank you for joining me on this journey through this pivotal moment in biblical history. May it inspire us all to walk faithfully with God, even in challenging times.